Hello, hello. I think we're live. Oh wow. It's a month since our live, so I still need to is it real live? So yes, do comment on our stream. I think we're live on LinkedIn, on X, and on our YouTube platform. Um, Hey everyone, we do miss you. This one was I think the most planned, and that's why we had so much time since the last recording until now. Then it felt like literally such a long time, like a year long. But I think this will be one of the most special episodes we'll have here on Off the Ledger, because we are gonna tackle a bit our core part of community. Um, Community is big, I think, for all of us here. But till we literally do a deep dive on it, let me remind you that Off the Ledger is a series of these kind of discussions, panels, in which the tech team tries to tackle different projects that we have here at Interledger Foundation. Mostly the host is me, your truly Yana Kyoran, engineer manager, and our CTO, Alex Lakatos. You can wave, be nice. And each week, I wish, each month, we have new guests from our team. We cover most of our tech projects till now. And we might even consider doing this like a first season and do a close up with community. We are pretty new in this field, so we're still deciding how to wrap up this episode and this series. And after that, don't think you're gonna get rid of us. No. After this first season, introductory talks, we're gonna go deep diving in our technologies. So definitely, if you have any questions about how tech is made at Interledger Foundation, do hit us up with a comment, and we'll try to tackle in a future episode. Yes, you might have saw that we tackle even in cards, or we tackled web monetization, or we had the intro into the whole stack. So we will gonna deep dive in all of these things a bit more in the upcoming future. Our guests today, very special guests, are the community representative, and we have here Tiffany, which is the community manager for events, and Vinil, who's our community manager. And also, literally lately, like last week or so, celebrated 3 years here as Interledger Foundation. I am a newborn. I'm soon gonna have my year, but I think Alex and Vinil, and you'll figure out why. Also, Tiffany, a small comma over there with the spin-off, are among the olders in terms of time spent at Interledgers, but younger in soul. How are you doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good. Yeah.
I think you're more younger than the old, so come on. It's just experience. It's like wine. They spend more time at Interledger that we get even better.
Absolutely.
I think I'm the youngest person on this call, Yana.
In age. Who cares
In
about
age.
age? I'm the most proud older. Like that's why I'm keeping my gray hair. But this is because I work with you, Alex. That's why I have gray hair. Happy. I think it's time for people to know. Even if I would die after a week of working with Alex, you just go back.
Yana, I know people can see the gray beard that started appearing after we started working together again.
So there's a competition between who has the most gray hair.
Yeah. But funny enough, most of the when I go back home, they will be like, "Oh my God, why don't you hide it?" And I'm like, "Oh, forget about it. I'm good without it. I'm good with it. I don't mind." But yeah, let's find out a bit more, because I did mention that like Tiffany has a spin. Vinil is with 3 years here. Vinil, tell us how your side of community started. What's your first drive towards community roles?
Sure. I think it's been a quite an exciting journey. I think I was before joining. For me, what was a driving factor was being an open source foundation and a nonprofit, and in tech in the payment space. So this was quite exciting for me, because I came from a bit similar but more community open source sort of a bit of background. So this was quite as close as it what I was thinking to. And more exciting, the thing was, as you know, like very familiar faces. Back to working with Alex, Iona, Chris. So it's been an exciting journey. So I think when I started, I think it was a handful of people. It was
How many
uh,
employees were there?
maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around there. By the time you came, yes.
I think Vinyl might have been number 8.
Hmm.
Yeah,
He was the third person in the tech team. We got no, he was the second person in the tech team.
I was
We
about to say
got
who was.
no, he was the second person. So we got the technical writer Mohammed first, then we
Mhm.
got community, and then we got the first developer.
Hmm.
Was that the time when you were still convincing yourself that you can still code around, Alex?
I was still coding back then, yes. I was still doing code back then. And then Sabine came back from maternity, and then we hired Max, the first developer. And I feel like in maybe the first 6 months after Max saw what me developing meant was I used to write the code and then I'd ship it off to Max for Max to write the test because I didn't have time for the test. I think the two of them sat me down after about 6 months and they begged me to start writing code.
We all understand that, don't worry. We do understand that.
I don't know how to tell you this, Joanna, but I have sinned. I've taken advantage of the fact that Sabine isn't around anymore. Sabine is on maternity leave. And Max is really busy and he can't keep track of me. So I've written code in the past week, and then me being me, I did maybe 90% of the work, and then handed it off to Darian to finish the work.
And it was worse. Poor Darian spent the whole week repairing after, you know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think it was
I only
appreciated.
I only I only wrote 5 minutes of code. I think he did actually appreciate me writing those 5 minutes and saving him a full day of research. But yeah, I've written code again in production. It's live in production.
But do you want to spell a little bit of sneak peek on what was the code you wrote about? Which part? As we know, we have
So
a...
if you go on webonization.org/tools, all of the goodness of making it show up on the website, like all the work, that was the team. Making it show up on the website the way it does, that was me. The
Yeah.
literally the last five minutes of work that needed to be done, that was me. Because the team was super busy getting everything ready for the launch. In case you
Yeah.
haven't read the blog today, I strongly encourage to go on the blog and check out the webinization release, the beta release. The team put in a lot of effort. Shout
Yes.
out to everyone involved. Um,
Yes.
and you should definitely, if you're watching us live, you should take this opportunity to download the extension, try it out, and ask us anything you want live. We're here to do support and debugging. If
Yes.
for a limited time only, live support and debugging.
Well, we can propose community events as a talk about community. I did have in mind an MIA, but we'll talk later, don't worry, or we'll schedule it for sooner to have exactly this moment in time when you can interact with our team or a larger scale or especially on different topics. So you don't have to wait for off the ledger ahead. So yeah, we are come to 8 employees, Vinyl. And as you can saw, somewhere here was helping Vinyl with this data. And that was Tiffany. Tiffany was around, but wearing a different hat back then. Wanna share
Yes.
about that?
Yes, absolutely. So when I started with the Interledger Foundation, I was the executive assistant. So I worked very closely with our president and CEO at the time, and also had my hands in a little different thing areas too. Also, I guess you could say I was the unofficial
Yeah.
EA for Alex as well.
So
But he did
Tiffany,
smart
Tiffany,
before you even mentioned, so he knew what's coming. Alex.
Exactly,
no, so
exactly.
so people that have tuned in off the ledger before know I am very fond of people who are victims of their own success. Tiffany was a victim of her own competency and success. It started out by doing small things for me. Back then, I didn't have an EA, and I thought I didn't need an EA. And it started off by doing small things for me, and then she got co-opted and roped, organizing the first Interledger Summit with Vinyl and I in New Orleans. And it turns out we used more of her time for our thing than she had to offer. She had to offer, but yeah, she was the victim of her own success. To be honest, the summit Tiffany organized in New Orleans is still probably my funnest experience at the conference. If you weren't there, we were doing the summit on the streets of New Orleans with a band, and we got to do a parade on the streets of New Orleans. Now, behind the scenes, how that happened, I think the morning of, me and Tiffany were in a hotel meeting room arguing whether or not we were going to do this, seeing as how we had no permit, no insurance, and probably no idea if this was going to work out. But Tiffany spent the whole day locked up in a room, being the mastermind behind all the pieces. And by I think 6 p.m. when we hit the streets, we had insurance, we had the band, we had permits, and the sheriff's department was there to kind of stop traffic for us. But up until that first summit, we were building the plane while we tried to fly it. It was interesting. It was
No was
interesting.
not an option.
Yeah, no was not an option, and I feel like that was me saying no was not an option. I think that's what Tiffany had to deal with most. No was not an option, but we made it. We made it, and that's kind of what we do around here.
Yeah,
We
and
figure
it
out a way
worked.
to make it work. Yeah.
And it was one of the, I think, the fond memories that everyone shares from that summit. I still am questioning where are the videos with you three dancing on those streets. Just saying, I'm still waiting for those like movements like that.
There's a sneak peek out in the YouTube world, I believe, where you could see, and maybe not all of us, but you'll see some of us.
I think vinyl is front and center in the materials we use for the summit. So one of the things that you do when you're in a parade in New Orleans is you get this handkerchief with initials, and we had that with the Interledger logo, and you could see one of the action shots of vinyl front and center in that, and we
Ooh,
used it. I think we used it on every summit material we released since.
nice. That's cool. That's nice. Okay. And you reinvented yourself, or you want to say something, Vinil, there?
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight for all of us participating in the parade, and there was police helping us do the parade across NOLA. So that was a very memorable experience. Yeah.
I do feel now like I'm shy that I was not there, crying that you had such a cool memory all together.
Yeah, and it was
We
also
we
a
actually
surprise because everyone didn't know what was going to happen. And
Ooh.
so the band just showed up and started playing music. So it was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And so, yeah, it was
So
exciting.
nobody from the rest of the team knew that they are gonna be that? Or like most
I
of
think a small group of us knew, including the people in charge of insurance, including the people in charge of insurance. But the attendees didn't know what was happening. No. And, like
wow.
most of the Interledger team didn't know what the surprise was. It was very, very close to the vest.
Nice. So Tiffany, was that the point that you thought that you might want to be more on the event side than EA for Alex? And I know you were not EA for Alex, it was just a joke. But getting rid of those responsibilities that Alex was throwing at you, and you thought that maybe events is something that you like to?
Trust and believe. The him coming to me was still a part of the deal. So not until he got his own EA that was
Yeah. It's like figure out your stuff there, so I don't have to. And after that, I'll be back. I'll be back like in the movies, better. And
exactly.
Honestly, I feel like after the event was done is when I realized I did need an EA, and that was the drive to convince Erica. Convincing Erica to join me was not a short process. But as soon as the event was done was when I finally acknowledged the fact that I needed all the help in the world, all the support in the world, and we
Yeah.
started looking for one.
Yes, there's 5 stages of everything. You were in negation stage, and after that, you were just acceptance. Yeah.
Hmm. But yes, going back to your question, because I've already had experience doing events like in the
Mm-hmm.
past, so it was one of those things that was easy transition. And of course, like working on the summit, I did enjoy it. You know, all of the challenges and things that happen in between, like those are things that I enjoy doing. So yeah, it was an easy transition.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. And I do remember when she joined us again talking about, and from the beginning was like, well, we kind of have this summit, plan. Let's talk about the next year summit. And I was saying, Tiffany, was like, oh wow. But I'm definitely appreciated to have you back here. So I'm not even know who to ask. How was the start of the community discussion? How we ended up having a community at Interledger? Alex, was it you? And after that, hiring Vinyl, or how it worked, or why we
So,
have a need for a community at Interledger even more?
I think when I joined, one of the things that was happening is we were transitioning from the Grant for the Web
Mm,
brand into Interledger, and Grant for the Web had a community, Webization had a community, but it was all like we had community in all the places, but it wasn't branded as the Interledger community. It
mm-hmm,
was the community around the people at Interledger.
Mhm.
And
mm-hmm,
so we started realizing people were in all these places because of Interledger. So we started gathering everything together, and that was you needed a village because our community is really big and they're very engaged. And as you can see, we have comments live here on the tech podcast. So there was a lot of community to interact with, and you basically needed to do that 24/7. And so we realized one of our biggest assets was community. One of our biggest assets was community.
true.
So we should serve our community to the best of our ability. And me spending a couple of hours every day was not what the community deserved. So that's why we got Vinyl. We got somebody who fosters and grows our community every day.
And we love our community.
Aw.
Definitely.
Just a
Yeah.
sneak
So
peek. If you focus on Tiffany's shirt, she literally put the hearts on. She's like, that's how much we need to count how many hearts, to be. But yeah, go ahead, Vinyl.
yeah, I think by the time I came in, Alex was already driving the most of the things at the community, the community calls, the socials,
Oh.
and a lot of other things. So I think, like as Alex mentioned, one of the initial things when I came in was sort of like a liaison between the tech team, and then we had the program team and the grant for the web, and see how we could sort of streamline things for the community. And that's how we sort of streamlined a lot of things in terms of messaging, how community participates in discussions. um, I think we started our first newsletter, reaching out to with them with their updates. So it was, I think initially it was more picking up things here and there and putting it out, um, uh, and then slowly. I think it's amazing when I sort of look back in 3 years. It's amazing to see how we've come together. Yeah.
Because Alex, this was not necessarily planned, but Alex, you were mentioning how people were in different plans. Was it easy for that the community at that point in time to understand the change towards a non-profit foundation and a different mindset of work?
I think one of the things that was happening back then were the community was driven by a lot of the partners involved in
Mm-hmm.
Interledger. So, for example, the community call, Vanille mentioned the community call back then was hosted by Uchi, who now
Mm,
is the CEO of Chimani, but back then was the developer advocate at Coil.
mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
The Yeah, so I think on my first week here, I basically spent time on my first month here. I spent time meeting everyone, and everybody, Joanna, I was a version of you. I don't know how to tell you this in a way you'll understand. I met everybody for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, we should do this. We should do the other thing. We should do the other thing." And everybody said, "Yes, you go do it." And I ended
Ah,
up doing a lot of things. I ended up doing a lot of things, and then I realized I needed to delegate because there were too many things. So I started hiring people to do all those things that I volunteered to do or I offered. All of the things. So yeah, it was people kind of knew what Interledger was, and everybody was talking about Interledger. Everybody like in the Coil calls, right? Which were they were a
mm-hmm.
webinization company. Interledger was front and center. So having a dedicated space for Interledger was easy for people to gravitate towards because we kind of shifted from a partners first approach into we have this umbrella, the Interledger Foundation, that stewards all of the technologies related. So people naturally gravitated towards it. I think the non-profit status,
Mm,
it wasn't really a big issue because people were used to Interledger being an
yeah.
idea, and so where the idea lived, it made sense for it to be a public good type of thing. If you think about Interledger, we think about Interledger as public infrastructure, something that could
Mm-hmm.
help anyone. So we didn't want to gatekeep it, and that's made our community easy to understand that now there's a neutral home for the IntelliJ protocol, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
foundation.
Okay. For a second, Alex, I thought it's gonna be a compliment, out there like you, Joanna. But after that, you throw me off the train, like, too many. I got the notice. I got the notice. People, don't worry. I learned from it. Good, but that's a really interesting then. So we had also people from Coil. When did we switch up to full Interledger? Or when Veneer started, you took over those projects that were so all over the place or Alex's plate so he could maybe focus more on the technical side? How
Right.
were the first few months?
The first few months were what are the things that specifically we can create around for IntelliJ
Mm-hmm.
community. At the same time, continuing the ongoing messaging. So it
Mm.
was like how we can make the community calls more, what do you call, as a learning resources, because for a lot of, like you mentioned, it's a learning opportunity for people who are new.
Yeah.
So we started inviting, doing like deeper dives, where we would pick the second half of the call to go into a particular topic within the IntelliJ ecosystem. So that way
Mm-hmm.
people learn a bit more and could ask questions and things like that. Same thing, and then sort of the social media, we've started thinking how we could also share our things that we are doing at IntelliJ through newsletter. So this was also in ways what are the different things that we cover in terms of spotlighting the community,
Mm-hmm.
who we could showcase from our community, and then these were one in terms of the online things. I think then it also started things like, I think Alex, I remember, I think during one of the conversation, what about the summit. Initially, it was still an idea,
Oh.
and for me, it was very new to IntelliJ, and I was still trying to, like you mentioned, there were a lot of things, and then it was something Alex asked, is there something that you want to put together a concept? So initially I was quite nervous.
To be honest, that wasn't an Alex idea. That was one of those things where as soon as I joined, everybody. So technically, the summit in New Orleans was the first summit hosted and organized by the Interledger Foundation. But before the pandemic, so this was 2022. I want to see 2020. Yeah, it was
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
Yeah. But before that, in 2019, Coil or Stefan and Evan hosted a little get together, the original Interledger Summit,
Okay.
and then the pandemic hit. And I think when I joined, all I heard was Interledger Summit was great. Interledger Summit was amazing. I had a lot of FOMO. Everybody wanted the Interledger Summits to start up again, especially since the pandemic and traveling was winding down. So it was one of those things where everybody asked for it, so we delivered, but it definitely wasn't an original idea. It was us listening to our community, to the fact that they missed being together in the same room, they missed sharing the excitement about Interledger, and we found a way to make that happen.
I did add the link now on the screen, and we'll try to add about the other summits or other links coming. But yeah, we do have a link from 2022. That's a good one. Okay, so how do we consider back then who's the community? Did we have, you mentioned many roles. Did you try to define that a bit, Vinil, and try to engage in a way? Like, I think you, in a previous discussion or stuff, you were mentioning, all the researcher, developer. Want to emphasize a bit more about it? Who is the
Sure.
community?
In Interledger, at Interledger, we have various set of people who are part of the community. Like we have a developer community, people who are into open source, researchers, educators, artists. So when I joined Interledger, this was quite new for me, like a new learning for me also, because there were artists who were ambassadors, part of the community, musicians. So it was very sort of exciting, so what do you call, a diverse set of people. So how it was like, what are the different things? There were some of the things which were very specific to how we can engage people who are very new, who doesn't know anything about Interledger. What are the things that we can share as a learning for them on socials? And then people who knew but they want to learn more, how we can engage them. This was through community calls, deep dives, encouraging more to join some of these conversations so that they know. And then we also have this amazing Slack community. We have this is a place where we have all our Interledger ecosystem, and all the projects are also listed. And I remember, like I think Sabine mentioned how we can make things more like for people to engage. So then we started looking into how we can make Slack where people can come, ask questions, introduce themselves. If you're watching this call and new to Interledger, you could join our Slack. It's open for everyone. And you can introduce yourself. You can say what you're working on. And if you are working something related to Interledger, based on Interledger, you can share it on and get feedback, inputs. So we had these, and then we have a forum, community forum. This was initially Grant for the Web, and then it was sort of synergized with Interledger. And again, like all the communication channels at Interledger, they are open for community. So at the forum also, if you can create an account, anyone can create an account. They can say that these are the things we are working on. They can share their milestones, their progress, and also engage in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So this became like a place where when people created something and they wanted to share their progress, they would come to the community forum and share their updates. And then we had a YouTube channel, and I think it was interesting because we had multiple YouTube channels. We tried, I think, see how best we can sort of consolidate all of that into one channel. So now, if you go check out our YouTube channel, it has amazing resources back from, like Alex mentioned, back from 2019 summit to talks from across the Interledger ecosystem, not just specific to Interledger Foundation itself, but across the community. It has also like different playlists. So it also became one of the key channels for people to come and learn about both as a very in-depth way, but also something. I remember this was also the time we were working with Madalena, and I remember the first video, the bird. If you go
Ernie.
to the Ernie, yeah, I think I remember the conversation was how we can
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I
we
think Neil might be having technical
share
difficulties.
yes.
Interledger
Well,
through an anime like a.
we missed you a bit, Vinyl. I see now that you muted yourself, so just let us know if you want to continue or if it works. But I think we'll have to retake that sentence again. I think around the after the birdie and Ernie, the birdie Ernie. Now I feel like I made a rhyme. I wasn't sure if it's intended or not, but now I'm gonna be stuck with us. Okay, we lost a bit, Vinyl. Let's give him a chance to come back. Um, Tiffany, do you remember were you around with the bird appearance with Ernie? And if you know, we have the stickers. Oh my, I should have it around, but I do have it somewhere here.
I started, let me see, after Ernie. I came back after Ernie was already created. So,
Okay.
so I think
Just so you
Ernie
know,
is
we did make
new.
a version of this as a plushie for the last summit. As you can see, a pattern of summit makes things happen. And
Mhm.
if you notice, I'm not sure, those who got it, Ernie has an envelope here because we try to make payments as easy as sending an email. Unplanned
Yeah,
promo moment.
Ernie is a byproduct of our summit strategy that we started in New Orleans. So in
Mm.
New Orleans, we started because we knew the summit was going to travel around the world. We have a global community, and it would have been unfair to go to the same place every year, especially since the first one we did in New Orleans because it's a vibrant city, because it was about celebrating our community post-COVID and giving everybody a chance to meet together. And so when we thought celebration or a celebration of community, New Orleans just instantly popped into mind
Mhm.
because of that feeling. But because it was in the US, a part of our community could not make it to the US because of the
Mm-hmm.
visa shortages or the visa processing times. And so the year after that, we moved it to a place where visas were a lot easier to process and come by, Costa Rica. And then we realized Costa Rica was hard to get to for a different part of our community. And then so we went to South Africa. So it would be easier for our African community to join us. And we realized it's impossible to make everyone happy. So the summit should kind of borrow from the personality of the host city. So
Mm.
in New Orleans, the summit logo was inspired by one of the masks. And when we moved it from New Orleans to Costa Rica, we looked at what made Costa Rica the the icon on the world stage, and we realized it's its biodiversity, and that's how Ernie was born. Ernie was born as a way to migrate or to inspire the summit branding from the host country. And Ernie's one of the things that stuck with us. I feel like the mask, the Interledger Summit mask logo is the thing that I'll always proudly wear because that's when we made all the hoodies, Joanna, that you don't have. So that's with us.
Did you
And
see? It was not intended. You could have said one of the best hoodies, but no, you had to add. Joanna, you don't have. It's also coral, like the color, and I so like it. But
that's
honestly, I
because
thought
in
Costa
one of
Rica
our
was for
recent posts,
coffee. Where
no,
was
no,
the
no,
coffee?
coffee,
No.
coffee. I feel like some people in our community do not
Yeah,
appreciate coffee the
no. We
same way we do,
also,
Joanna.
well, true to be honest, we did discover really good tea also in South Africa. I know if you remember in the last innings, we all went for crazy rooibos tea. I think the red
Red
cappuccino,
cappuccino.
and
Red
yeah,
cappuccino.
was a staple there. So yeah, isn't that the moment to mention where we are headed this year for the summit?
Is it public? Did we tell people? Is it live?
Yes,
We're
we
doing the surprise.
launched on Friday. Friday, it was posted on socials. Mhm.
Okay, that's good. So we can tell everybody where we're going this year.
The pages are live, so if because we talk so much about the summit, and I did check, and the pages are live. This year we are headed to Mexico, Ciudad de Mexico.
Mexico City.
And you
Yeah.
should stop me, people, just because if I'm gonna speak more Spanish, yeah, we're not gonna have a lot of attendance to our events there. I'm just kidding. Alex, let's make it this on. Ioana says a lot of things live, and after that gives herself more work. Ioana talk with Vinyl and Tiffany, and Ioana will speak at an event before, or at least then, will present in Spanish.
Spanish. That is, we support you, Anna. We support you.
I was expecting for more like a laugh, but yeah, I know you're supporting me to Spain. But my goal this year will be, because we work on goals, to present in Spanish technically, not using the telenovela Spanish that we learn from TVs, but more technical Spanish. So yeah, we'll see. Alex is I can see on his face, he's like, I'm not sure if this is a good idea or not.
Look,
But I'm saying,
I feel like we are gearing up in a big way for Mexico this year. If you haven't checked the Interledger website, you'll see the summit website is bilingual right now. So you have Spanish and English on the website. And we're trying to do this for our documentation as well. So if you want Joanna to learn Spanish, the best way to help Joanna would be to submit some pull requests for documentation to translate it into Spanish and ask Joanna to be a reviewer. That would help her. That would help her learn Spanish outside of just watching TV in Spanish.
yeah, true. But yeah, I think it's important to mention that exactly besides having a logo inspiring from the culture, we do want to bring it as close to the community as possible. So we are trying to that. Okay, but this also, we are going to Mexico now, so a lot of things will come around in that. But if you're in the area, in the country, and events and cool meetups and communities of developers, and not only or finance things, do hit us up. I'm Ioana at interledger.org, easy peasy. We do have also community at interledger.org, so let us know where we should be before the summit. The summit is at the beginning of November. For those that did not yet open the link, I did post it as a comment too. But yeah, we plan to be around the city earlier and to engage and create events with the local community.
Yes.
Okie dokie. So we mentioned the few things there before and after. We mentioned the community blog. Tiffany, because we mentioned our events, do you want to share a bit how we are organizing, where we're going to be, where is certain that we're going to be this year, and what are we trying to achieve maybe with events, or how is our community engaging at events?
Yes. So for this year, as Joanna mentioned, with the summit and hackathon being in Mexico City, that is one of our primary focuses where we want to make sure that we engage the community. And so before getting to the summit and hackathon, we want to interact with you all. We want to partner with you. We want to get the word out about Interledger and all of the work that we're doing here, but also just find out more about your community and get involved and invested there as well. And so some of the other areas that we have as well, looking into Asia specifically, we've had an event in Singapore, a hackathon with Hackomania, which was great. It was wonderful last month. And so excited about that. Maybe Ioana or Alex want to speak a little bit about that and how that went over in Singapore. And then
why are you smiling, Alex, like that?
Joanna,
Sure.
tell people how Singapore was.
It was really good. Alex developed an addiction on bubble tea, and we literally proposed at the hackathon to build up a Flamo to combat his addiction for that. Well, jokes aside, the addiction was not yet there, but we did propose on a serious note for the attendants there to build a platform using micropayments, open payments, to try to combat addictions of any type. We had 13 teams working on us, around 60 people, I think, out of 200. So really, really impressive numbers. We had a hard time deciding. Well, Alex was the official judge, but myself and Eugene, our CEO, were around there, and we tried to help him judge better, or just at the best. And we had a hard time giving a single award because we really loved more than one solution. We also, I think we discussed how diverse the solution can be through how they confirm the payments, how they use micropayments or one-time payment or continuous streaming, all features that we support. And we awarded two prizes for Hackomania. I think it was a really good experience to go to a hackathon not organized by us, because again, a good time to mention, we do organize around the summit a larger hackathon with the audiences that attend the summit and the local communities. I think the one in Costa Rica was a bit more restrictive. I mean, not restrictive in that we didn't want, but less people from the local community got a chance to attend. But since then, we opened it up way more. In Cape Town, we had 200 something people. I think it was really sold out. It was free, but it was with registration. So we arrived at the maximum capacity of the venue and the numbers of mentors that could prepare for this. And we are looking, I think, for even bigger number this year, but stay tuned for official data. So we do invite local
Official
community.
data, Joanna, official goals for everyone on this team is we are going to have 500 people at the hackathon. That is the goal.
So,
As I told Tade recently, we had a conversation about goals with Tade and Max. Joanna, internalize it, accept it, embrace it, figure out a way. 500 hackers, ideally all local. If some people are going to travel in from other parts, that's welcome. But 500 people in Mexico City hacking on open payments.
So yeah,
And the
as you
reason
can
the
see,
reason
we
why
are
we do
open
this,
even in terms of discussing live our goals for this team. Yeah, why not?
we are fans of transparency here at the
Yes.
Interledger. Very big
Check
fans
out,
of
please, every
transparency.
month with us to see if we're still alive on this goal. Just saying, for our sanity.
But Joanna, why do we do these things? Why do we do hackathons? Why do we do events? Why 500 people?
You said the number. I'm kidding. Well, we do want to leverage the local communities. We do want to bring awareness to our tools. And for example, one thing that literally struck us while we were in Hackomania is that our challenge, well, our technology should not even be a challenge external to other challenges. I think right there we were like, we could have added open payments challenge to all other challenges, all other platforms, because it was something with creating recipes and food stuff, and the local event app for offline or online events. So all these could have open payments implemented. So we want to give back to the community by supporting them with this event. We want us to be there to teach them if they need to. You literally have a mentor on the spot to give you support, to clear up things. Hopefully, the feedback that we get through these hackathons or other events, we can incorporate in our documentation. So it gets even easier and even better to participate in this community. We do have larger goals by the end of the year for different other platforms to reach out audience, to have our web monetization in more than I will never say the number because I'm afraid of those big numbers, pages or users. So all of you here in the community, I look for you. This is heart sign. If you just so people understand, this is the new way of showing heart. All the lovely people in the community, you can help us reach out this goal. If we're not getting there, this is a life promise that you're gonna have to have a therapy live session with us next year because we didn't reach our goal and Alex was mean to us, and we need comfort after this. What would
No,
you
no,
add to that?
we
Because
are
you
a
started.
global company with a very ambitious goal of making payments as easy as sending an email. If we don't shoot for the moon, how are we gonna get there? This is a 20-year problem we're solving here, Joanna. I feel like you've gotten enough goodwill from the community. I don't know if you're reading the comments. Apparently, the IoT community is the best, and we are the best, right? So if we're the
Yes.
best, we should have the biggest goals out there, audacious.
Big and
You
audacious.
can see I'm turning red, I guess you can see I'm turning red. I'm a bit. It's very cold in Berlin, but it's very. No, I'm joking. Yes, we know.
So that means community, help us spread the word.
Yes, and attend events that we create. Like, I think it's also a good time to go back to some of the things that we have. For example, on YouTube, we from time to time we organize internally lunch and learn from our team. But some of them are something that our community can learn from, and if the speaker is open to it, we can easily. We already make them, available for everyone on. I think it's a playlist on our YouTube. I think we had a really good one on privacy with our friends from IO, the company behind the AdBlock Plus and the AdBlock add-ons and privacy. We're gonna do several others. I think the last one was with Chimani on the KYC, the I would say like this process that is needed in so many parts this time. I did KYC for eSIM in Thailand, but to explain how it is done, why, how they do prevent fraud. So these kind of topics that need a bit more time to explain them, and yeah, even if they are started as an internal thing, we put it up for the community. We have our community calls each month. They are recorded on a playlist on YouTube. So I did paste the link for our YouTube in the comments, but we are gonna try to make some notes after it to share some of the highlights episodes and the playlist and all that. And because of the go ahead, Tiffany.
Yeah, I also wanted to make note too that I know during the community calls that we kind of share a little bit about like upcoming events that we'll be at, but we're also going to be implementing where we share within like Slack and just like a calendar of like upcoming events so that you all have a way there as well that you can easily go to and find out what's coming up.
Yeah, and we have many platforms. Like, for example, we try at least 3 tech bites to share in the newsletters. Most of the time are from our tech blogs, articles or events that we are going. And we do have other big celebration. I do want to mention, because I mentioned the local community, and we organize or we try to sponsor support, and don't say like, oh, by sponsor we go and pay and we talk. No, we literally want to leverage the local events already happening or local meetups, and we help them organize. For example, in Cape Town, the community, the meetup there was literally a bit shy to organize because they didn't know exactly how and come, and Tiffany stepped in and helped the local organizer with, information. We helped them with the feedback form. We draft the agenda, how we're going to organize, order food. And it was 100 and so people. I think all, like, from the feedback mention of their best meetup. So this is what we really want to leverage the local community in participating equally with us. Not, oh, we came to Cape Town, we did the summit, is nice. No, we wanted to meet the local developer groups, or to learn from their experience how it could help them more. And that's why we are literally looking for a meetup to do an event before the summit in Mexico. We, like, on our plate is discussion, like, would people from Guadalajara or Oaxaca travel for a hackathon in Mexico? Would that be an easy? We don't know. If you are from Mexico, let me know. Would people literally travel by bus or by plane for an event like our hackathon? Give us feedback. This is how we literally just try to discover the local community. Another big initiative happens around the same time with the summit, and I think last year was a bit crowding as it literally was on the month of the summit. Who's gonna mention it? And it's literally addressing everyone working in an open source.
Vanille, would you like to talk about that?
We have Vinil full on.
I lost the pet. Sorry.
No worries. We were mentioning now the thing happening in October for our developers and open source supporters. So we still have a bit of lagging there. Let's try just to see if it's working, Vinil, for you.
If not, I mean, we can talk about it.
Yeah, so, go ahead.
Hacktoberfest, as you know, like the larger organization, and so Interledger has been a part of it for the last several years, and we want to keep the momentum going, where we will sponsor, several events around the world, where you would just submit. We'll have a form that you can fill out, and you submit that to us, and then we will support in your event and initiative that you have going on throughout the month of October in celebration of Hacktoberfest.
Yeah, and it can be online. It can be an event. I think we did support a few local in-person events last years. I think 2 years ago we also had the tech ambassador. A big shout out here to Santosh, and he organized, or he drove a lot of the events around the Hacktoberfest too. And one thing that you can do literally right now is to just start our repositories on GitHub. And you can contribute before October too. You don't have to wait for October to come, but in October, if you want to be part of this initiative. Small disclaimer here, because we are diverse and inclusive, we do understand that Hacktoberfest is not for everybody. We do strive for quality, not quantity, so we don't have that many goals in our Hacktoberfest related to what or the number of commits or PRs that you do, but we do want to give a fair chance to everybody that starts in the open source, or everyone that wants to contribute to tech, open source tech.
Yes, and just a quick thank you to everyone that does contribute, star, and follow along with Interledger. So we really do appreciate it.
Yes, very big time. And all the people that ask questions on Slack, by the way, we try to engage with everyone. We do post updates there, so I think it's a pretty fun place to be around. Just saying, you want to try it. Any highlights from the project? Any other highlights that we want to mention?
I mean, do we want to talk about the cards?
Ooh, we did have the cards, and we do have an episode. I don't have the link at hand. I'm not gonna spend but we're gonna link it in the meeting, So I think there was also a lot of our community getting a card in the summit. So I see a big connection with amazing thing happening at the summit. No pressure for this year, just saying. Alex's look is like, should we promise stuff? No. Not online.
I feel like everybody has something in the works for the summit. Everybody in the tech team as something that's secretly or not so secretly working on for the summit. If you haven't been at the summit, I'm telling you, Mexico City is gonna be the best one yet. So you should definitely join us. And if you've been at the summit before and you want to participate this year on the surprises happening for the summit, reach out to this team, and they will help you coordinate efforts. Coordinate efforts. Obviously, we're in Mexico. The theme is going to have to be fiesta. It's going to have to be fiesta in there. There are a lot of people working very hard for the summit this year. I feel like when we started, it was a bunch of people doing their best. Right now, there's a dedicated team with a lot more people involved. So it takes a whole village. Takes a whole village in most of the things we do. Our community has been super helpful and super supportive. Big shout out to PCH was helping. PCH is the People's Clearinghouse. They're located in Oaxaca, and they're helping with anything from finding venues for the summit and the hackathon to just making sure the connections we make in there are being maintained throughout the year.
That's so
So
cool.
if you're
Yes.
gonna join us, at a single event this year, let that be the summit.
Yeah.
But we do understand not everybody can make it to Mexico City. It's hard. It's a long way away. For some of us, it's a 35-hour journey, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
big commitment. We are gonna be live like every year. We're gonna be on YouTube live. The talks, most of them, some of them are sensitive and can't be recorded. So
Mm-hmm.
if you weren't in the room for the card session at in Cape Town, you didn't get to see the card session. But most of
Yeah.
it is online. Join us online. And if that's too far away and you can't wait until November, here's a novel idea. We're always looking for new places to go, new places where a community is to go say hi, interact, reach out, tell us about the event in your local community, and we'll be happy to sponsor and send someone to represent Interledger in your local community. We'll send some swag.
Yeah.
We'll make sure everybody knows what we're doing, and we'll help you increase the awareness of Interledger.
And I think it's a good point, a good moment to say that we are going to be around, for example, next month. Yeah, next month in London for a conference. We can say the CTJS London. We are thinking on other CTJS episodes too in other cities, countries, and cities. Tiffany will be later in the year at Render Atlanta. I
Yes.
think, yeah. I'll be in Bucharest for Dev Talks in June. We're gonna be in Cluj for our work week at the beginning of May, and we're gonna be at JS Heroes, a meetup also later in the month too in May. We're gonna be in Seattle. We're gonna be in New York later in the second part of the year with different conferences. So you have to literally follow our social media to see where we are headed to. We did create like pages for such conferences with all the details. We do post online from them, and we try to do report back posts on the community so you see what are we sharing, what are we discussing. Maybe we're gonna see into the wild implementation of different web monetization publisher tools that we have there, so on different platforms. Feel free to reach out and propose us. We do have, as you say, we commit to goals, and thanks so much for encouragements there in the comments that we're gonna strive with such huge goals. Thank you. It literally helps us, someone cheering for us on the side. We do want to cover all the continents, well, pretty much all the continents. If you're doing a conference in Antarctica, reach out to me. We don't have anything around there. But in the other continents, we pretty much have a conference going this year. We are speaking at the event. So, yeah, different topics. Could be very technical, could be on the inclusivity or on what's help with financial, all things around.
You wanna, maybe we should start a segment, where in the world is Interledger?
Yes, we're gonna have a page. Well, I literally, we in
Tiffany,
the newsletter.
I hear you just volunteered to maintain
Yes, I know.
a new page. You just volunteered to maintain a new page on the website. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you. We definitely knew we needed that for a while. Nobody was brave enough to take it on. Tiffany, I appreciate you.
Okay.
I was thinking at having this section, meet the team at, because we did use this in, different events, but it can literally be a page called meet the team. Meet the team, yes. Meet the Interledgers, Do we have other name here? Interledgers? Sounds okay. Meet us. Meet us at events, yeah? Yeah. We can do it. We can do it easily, we have the tools, Tiffany, we are working on those pages. It's fine.
Yes.
Whoa, it flew up, an hour flew up. Anything you want to add to, let's wrap up the community segment of the ledger. Is this a bit too much? This episode of the ledger.
Just to say like how people can get involved or get in touch with us. So again, like the tech contribution. So if you can GitHub, Slack, our newsletter, our social media platforms that we are on, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, Mastodon, Blue Sky. Am I missing any?
No, I think we're good.
What everywhere. What everywhere. What Tiffany's trying to say is it's very easy to reach us. If you want to talk, if you have feedback for us, or if you want to help out, please reach out.
Yes.
There's no excuse that you don't know where to. It's just like everywhere. Go ahead, Tiffany. Was there anything else? I put the GitHub now. We mentioned social media. Lots of events coming.
Yes. I think that's
Slack.
Mm-hmm. I think that was.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a lot of information for new people. I do understand that it could be overwhelming with where should I even start? Just exactly choose your platform, your favorite platform, wherever you spend time. Even because I know sometimes, for example, Slack is a barrier for some people to join. You don't have to install Slack on your phones or your platform. Go it through the web. You do need an account, but you can use the web platform at any moment. So just choose one of the tools, reach out to us, and we will be back with answers. And joyful faces. Look at us. We survived another of the ledger with happy faces. You can tell that we are very excited for our community, our events and projects this year. So keep it close to us because we have a lot of them in our storage. Yeah, we're gonna be full of surprises this year. Well, we just started already with Singapore huge event. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, anything, Vinyl? We're really sorry that you had the troubles, Vinyl. Are you back?
Yeah, my internet has been acting today, but
I think the internet was keeping you safe from Alex's goals and everything. I was like, Vinyl, let's go. Close the session. It's too much.
But I do invite you all to join our next community call. That's a good place to start if you are new or if you want to learn what we are doing at Interledger. So we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming community call in April.
Indeed. Okay, so that's a wrap. Thanks so much, Tiffany, Vinyl, for joining this episode. Alex, thanks for hosting yet another one. And let's go back to working out on the new series coming up. Okay, have a wonderful day, everyone, and see you in comments. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.